to talk about San Leandro, our evening edition. This is our city government series, and I'm pleased to have with me this evening Victor Aguilar. Victor, how are you?
I'm good, Wayne. How are you? Thank you
thank you for joining
me. Having me.
Let me ask you, did I pronounce your name correctly?
It's Victor Aguilar.
Aguilar. So there's the educational part of our program. I won't make that mistake again. So Victor has agreed to come down here. He could be out knocking on doors or knocking back a few beers, both of which are probably more enjoyable than sitting here with me. But thanks for coming in, Victor. So I have all the candidates kind of give us a little personal profile of themselves. And so could you please do that? Just kind of give us, where did Victor grow up, family life, brothers and sisters. Let us know about that.
Well, Wayne, I grew up in Los Angeles, California, in a town called El Monte, which is 15 minutes east of Los Angeles.
Okay.
I moved out when I was 18, went to college in Hawaii.
Okay. And how many brothers? Was it a large family or?
I have two sisters and a brother,
okay.
Which is adopted. So there are 4 of us total.
I see. And where are you? Where age-wise?
I am the eldest.
You're the eldest. Very good. Okay, thank you. And so you left there and you went to Hawaii.
I did.
That's not bad for college. I probably should have done the same. But tell us about that. What did you study?
So I studied political science in Hawaii, and during my time while I was going to college, I had a job working as a waiter. And it was a union position working for, I was a part of Unite Here, Local 5.
Great. So that you got some union experience, understanding the importance of unions, I would think, in your life, because I had a similar experience in my life. So very good. And then when did you come this way over to California?
So I moved back to California in 2005.
I see.
And that's where I met my partner, and we decided to move up to the Bay Area in 2011.
Got it. Very good. Well, thank you. Well, good. Well, now we can get down to the nitty-gritty and talk some politics. Let's, the first question I've asked others, and I'll ask you, is what's your position on rent control, and why? How did you get there?
So rent control, I have been a person who has been taken advantage of by unreasonable rent hikes and illegal evictions, and I wholeheartedly support rent control. I just want to protect the renters in San Leandro from unreasonable rent hikes, have us create an ordinance in San Leandro that will set a certain percentage as to the amount that the landlords can tack on to renters in San Leandro.
Okay, good. And so I got a question, kind of follow up. The Costa-Hawkins, there is the moderate or severe rent control. That is, if Costa-Hawkins is repealed, then there's, to the degree that the city decides, they can hold rent control across vacancies. That is, when the place goes vacant, they won't be able, if the city chooses to implement that aspect of it. And do you have a particular opinion on that? The idea that when the property goes vacant, that the landlord can bring up to market at that point. What is your opinion on that? So,
there's fair market value, and with that, I think that there would be a reasonable amount that the landlord would be able to market the apartment. But there would also be the rent control aspect on that in regards to the percentage that the landlord would be able to raise the rent.
Got it.
But in regards to Costa-Hawkins, there's a Proposition 10 that is on the ballot, and I am telling all my friends to vote yes on that proposition.
Okay, thank you very much. Airbnb, there's a moratorium now. It's the hosted versus non-hosted. What do you think about that?
So the non-hosted is a huge aspect. That's where you get unwanted, you get folks from all over coming in, and you have instances where people don't respect the neighborhood. They don't respect the property. People are trashing homes and trashing the neighborhoods essentially by littering and not picking up after themselves. And so unhosted is a major no. I do support hosted within reasonable limits.
Okay, good, very good. Okay, thanks. So There's debt in San Leandro. Most California cities have a severe load of debt. We're no exception to that. So, what do you think about that? I always say that it is a systemic problem for California, and I don't expect Victor to solve those problems. But are there things that we can do to stem the tide to be better guardians of our resources that we pay in taxes?
This is a major issue. We have taken steps, but we need to take more serious steps in regards to setting money aside to help fund these unfunded liabilities. Like you said, it is a systemic issue. It's all over California. I believe San Leandro was ranked number 95 or 94, 95.
94, it was.
And being one of the worst in unfunded liabilities pension fundings. And so I think this is something that we need to take a deeper dive and see where we can contribute more costs towards these unfunded liabilities.
And with regard to even the League of California Cities, I don't know if there's a leadership role to take in, because the cities will have to kind of assemble and try to push something through. But I don't know that those steps have been taken, but do you see San Leandro taking any kind of leadership role in that?
The leadership role is legislation and in Sacramento.
Right.
With the League of California Cities, I think it stems with us being there, being in Sacramento, right. Talking to our legislators. Essentially the governor, they're going to have to bail us out.
Yeah.
And this is all stems out from Wall Street and what happened with the recession.
Yep. Okay. So another issue that I've asked and I wanted to ask you is with regard to the flavored tobacco, the ban on flavored tobacco, and the limitation of the number of tobacco retailers that can come in the city. What do you think about that?
So this ban on tobacco, might as well have banned flavored vodka, flavored alcohol. You have small business owners who have customers going to other neighborhoods, other cities, spending their revenue, buying flavored tobacco in Oakland, buying in Hayward. And, in a sense, we're losing tax revenue in San Leandro because of this.
Mm-hmm. The flavored tobacco, I believe it's through these vaping pipes. Is it? Am I misunderstanding that? Is it about the vape pipe, or is it simply flavored tobacco? Because I was under the impression that it was with these kind of vape devices.
It's for tobacco and vaping pens.
Right. Okay.
But we should spend more money towards education on tobacco prevention.
Okay. You're on the school board now, and I had a question I asked a number of the candidates. And in San Lorenzo High now, they received a grant to try this system of putting cell phones in these green bags that are sealed, and they can't be opened until the end of the day. And so the kids, they have their phones. The phones haven't been taken away from them, but they don't have access to them throughout the day. And it appears, according to the teachers, that this has been a very rejuvenating experience for the whole institution. Is that something that you're aware of, or how would you see that? Is that something that San Leandro might want to take a look at?
That's something that I am unaware of in San Lorenzo. That would be maybe a pilot that we can try in San Leandro. Right. I'm completely open to it to see what the statistics are.
Right.
You said some of the teachers said it's refreshing to how it's helped with the process and the kids learning. I'm all about educating and getting the most attention from these kids and having to educate them in our schools as much as possible. Okay. So I would be completely open to that.
Good. So the marina, we were supposed to break ground, I think, 2007 in 17, and we didn't. There are mitigating circumstances with sea level rise. But with regard to what's planned out there, do you see? Are you good with how it's planned, or are there things that we should look at perhaps differently out there? What's your opinion on that?
I thought we should have dredged to have a ferry come into San Leandro, but that didn't happen. So now we're dealing with this marina that is gorgeous, and trying to figure out what to do with it, with consideration with rising sea levels, we need to build efficiently. We also need to make sure that we have housing, and take into consideration the families that are going to come in, so that we can accommodate these children in our school district in San Leandro. But it seems like the housing that is going to be implemented in the marina is probably going to be market rate housing.
Right.
We would also need to take into consideration there's a housing issue. We need to create more housing, and so it would be nice to add housing, and various levels of housing in the marina.
Right. And with regard to housing, this kind of development of the tiny home development, where people can create a tiny home behind their homes. San Leandro has lots of very large lots. I know the city has looked more favorably on that, but it's still very costly to try to implement something like that. What's your opinion on that? How do you think that would impact the neighborhoods, with having essentially increasing the housing in the neighborhoods?
When you look at that type of housing, you have to also take into consideration parking concerns.
Sure.
In my neighborhood, I live close to an apartment complex, and so you see a lot of overflow of those folks the families that live in those apartment complexes parking in our neighborhood.
Right.
When I first moved in, it was completely desolate. Now it's with the exodus that's happening from San Francisco, people are getting priced out. Now they're moving down to San Leandro, rents rising, and you have more families essentially living together, in 1-bedroom apartments, 2 bedrooms, or a house. You have families living in building tiny homes in the back. I think a bill was passed where we can allow that essentially, and I think it's a great idea, but we need to also give incentives to people who would reduce the use of or purchasing a car, create more public transportation, access to public transportation, so people don't have to purchase a vehicle. Maybe we can ride a bike or a scooter to BART or the bus stop.
Very good. Well, we're kind of running down on our time here. I wanted to give you a couple of minutes or a minute to address the citizenry of San Leandro and tell them what are the best reasons they might want to vote for you.
I moved to San Leandro 8 years ago. My husband and I moved here together in hopes of starting a family. So we purchased a home. I got actively involved. I got appointed to the Human Services Commission by Mayor Pauline Cutter. I got elected to the school board, and now I am running for San Leandro City Council in District 3. It would be an honor to be the first openly gay person on the council. It's weird to say the first, but it hasn't happened yet. So I am here to break the barrier and be the first. I was the first openly gay on the school board along with Peter Oshinsky. And so now my next step is to be on the city council, to help with rent control, to help make sure that there's transparency in our government, and to make sure that we're a safe place to live and a place where families can grow.
Well, super. I want to thank you very much for coming in and talking to me, and good luck in this race.
Thank you very much, Renee. I appreciate it.
Great.